Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Fast Intentions. I'm your host, Nathan, alongside my co-host, my man, my father, my papa, Todd.
What's up?
My favorite part of doing...
Episode 13, A Baker's Dozen. Woo!
Okay. I was going to say my favorite part of doing the intro is saying your name and just Todd. Because, it's just one syllable.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it just doesn't sound the same as two syllables.
No.
Two syllables sounds better.
Yeah.
If you speak in one syllable the whole podcast, I'll be okay with that. Less listening to your rambling. You had nothing to say. You just had to groan. See, you can't do this. Well, how you doing, buddy?
Bet. I'm doing good. How are you? It's taking a turn in the weather. A little nip in the air. A little chilly.
Yeah, it said 4 degrees when I looked.
Yes.
And it snowed yesterday, so that's great.
Yeah, it's cold and wind, my favorite two combinations.
And work yesterday was still busy.
I'm sure it was.
Though,
everybody's got to get those margaritas.
We didn't even sell that much of those.
A lot of chili? You sell chili?
Yeah. And soup.
Is your chili good?
It's all right. I eat it sometimes.
I like Run's chili. And Wendy's is
That's the
good.
competition.
Well, sorry. I'm not always in the vicinity of Don and Millie's to have my lunch.
That's okay.
Actually, when I take my lunch at work, I'm never in the vicinity of Don and Millie's.
Well, Don and Millie's is expensive, too. And now prices are going up again.
Well, they have to pay your absorbent salary. That's why.
Oh, $19 an hour. Woo!
Nathan's management. We got to raise the prices.
Yeah. I'll be on the ass. Hey, where's that cheese Frenchie? I need it down right now. So, otherwise, life's not too bad.
Good.
I was playing God of War. There's some boss battles you got to beat. They were kicking my ass last night. I said, I got to go to bed because I can't beat it right now.
That's probably what some of your employees think.
Oh, you
got to do a boss battle.
No one likes to argue with me.
Yeah, because they know they can't win.
I don't rule with an iron fist. I'm the nice one. I'm the nice one. The other people are the mean ones.
Good cop,
you
bad
made
cop.
the dog bark, too.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Stella. You're a good cop, bad cop. You're the good cop.
Pretty much, people come to me when they have issues. Well, people come to me and they say stuff. I'm like, oh, my God. I go, why am I a manager?
I've learned that a lot of people just like to be heard. If you just listen to them and let them vent, that a lot of times that just takes the edge off, their angst or whatever, and just people just want to be heard. So if you give them the time of day and let them vent, then that usually dissipates the situation.
The good thing about fast food, there's usually a revolving door of employees sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll get people that come in, they just tell you the whole life story, and then they leave. It's like, okay.
Well, I was assistant manager at a convenience store, and you talk about a revolving door. And the problem with working at convenience stores, a lot of your employees are younger kids that are just starting out, and to them it's a throwaway job. So if they're supposed to work, but all of a sudden they get an invite to go to this great party, I'm like, I'm going to go to the party. Screw going to work. And then the poor saps like me, who are assistant managers, have to cover their shifts, and you end up working all these crazy hours.
Yeah.
But, they just don't care. They don't think about how it affects other people. But it comes with maturity, as you get older, you're more responsible.
Usually our high school kids are pretty good. And they know they have to get their shifts covered.
Yeah.
Because we're a local business, we can't just we can just call in this random person now. There's only, so many of us?
Yeah.
So it's like, well, you got to find someone to cover, otherwise. Sorry.
Yep.
Or unless you're really sick, and then we'll let you stay. But then that means I got to work harder.
Definitely. And we don't want that.
Fuck, I don't want it either. Taking orders, bagging orders, running orders. Telling my fryer person who doesn't have their stuff down, hey, you need this down. It's a pain in the ass to do all that at the same time. But anyways, we're not here to talk about.
So do you say, are you down?
No, I don't say
Are you down?
You got to do those all days,
No.
I need 2 orders of fingers all day. I need 3 orders of Frenchies. I need a fry ring combo and 2 onion rings. And then the guy goes, what?
Yeah, that's not a good response.
Yeah.
Are you going to go see the movie 80 for Brady? And if not, is it because Tom Brady's a main focal point of it? Or because the actresses in it are older and you don't really know who they are? Or are you going to go see it? Do you know the stars of the movie? If I say Jane Fonda, do you have a reference to, Jane, Sally Field?
No.
Lily Tomlin?
Jane Fonda is the only one that sounds
Rita
familiar.
Moreno?
No, she's the only one that sounds familiar.
Okay.
And I don't know, old people obsessing over Tom Brady. It just doesn't seem like a.
It's based on a true story, apparently.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem. I don't even go see movies anyways. Movies I want to see, I don't go see. So I'm definitely not going to go see 80 for Brady. No offense to Tom Brady or the old women in the movie.
So you're an ageist?
No, I'm not ageist. It's just why would a movie that's appealing to older people?
Well, because it's the basis of football is the basis of the movie.
Yeah, but it's the basis about these older women in love with the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So, well,
Just don't do it for you?
no, not really.
Yeah, all right.
And it's New England version of Tom Brady, right?
Yes.
It's not a Tampa Bay version or potentially Las Vegas Raider version.
It's not timely. Of course, it takes a few years to make these productions.
Well, if it's based off
if
it's based off a true story, it makes sense that it'd be older.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess
I'm sure he's with Tampa Bay. Excuse me. I'm sure he's with New England when they set out to make the movie, and then he moved along. And who knows? He might be moving along again this fall.
Well, should I look up when they filmed it
Is that a good segue? If you'd like to.
so we can know for sure if he had to put? He's like, shit, I got to put that stupid uniform back on.
Yeah, the guys that I work with a guy who's a 49ers fan, and they talk about Jimmy G the last couple of days, and they were talking about how he's going to be a Raider, this or something. I said my prediction is that Jimmy Garoppolo will end up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's my prediction. And speaking of quarterbacks on the move, there's a lot of rumors about Aaron Rodgers maybe moving on, and the Jets seem to be a big benefactor in those rumor mills. And then more fuel was added to the fire this week when they hired Nathaniel Hackett as their offensive coordinator. And I know you were hoping he'd come back to Green Bay, but
They filmed it in March 2022
it's not too far
and
long.
through June. Well, because he retired in February, and so he was like, "Oh, I'll appear in it," and then he came back, and they were like, "Oh shoot!" But he still got it. All right, sorry to interrupt you.
No,
yes,
it's fine. No.
Nathaniel Hackett went to the Jets.
Yes. And so that's fueling a lot of rumors that Aaron Rodgers might end up there.
Yeah.
And according to Dov Cleveland on Twitter, he says the Packers will want at least 2 first-round picks in a trade for Aaron Rodgers.
Damn straight they will.
And Peter King shared the same thing. And he added that Woody Harrelson, cheers, Jets owner Woody Johnson would happily pay that price. But, I think Aaron has right of refusal, so would Aaron Rodgers want to play in New York? And it's kind of ironic to me because that's the path that Brett Favre took when he left.
Yeah, Jesus, don't
Up at the Jets.
don't get started on that.
That was
Brett Favre.
He was only there a year, right? And then he went on to Minnesota. Or they traded him to Minnesota, wasn't it?
I think he got cut, didn't he?
I don't know.
Well, they waived him.
Yeah, whatever the reason was, it's not.
Oh no,
that
he may have
important,
been traded because.
Oh.
I may reach my phone.
Nathan's going to Google.
No, but I was going to say this seems like a play just to get Aaron Rodgers there, but Nathaniel Hackett's a good offensive mind, and especially after the falling out in Denver, I think he has a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
But if he still just goes in, run the plays, doesn't have to worry about anything else, I think it's a good hire for the Jets.
Well, we had mentioned an episode or two ago that LaFleur said he would be open to bringing him back.
He said he talked to him too.
So was the Jets offer better? Or he just felt like he wanted to go somewhere where you have a fresh start? Or was it because of the uncertainty of Aaron Rodgers? And did he want to go be offensive coordinator for Green Bay if he had to basically start from scratch with Jordan Love? There's a lot of factors probably played into his decision. But, the Jets have a good team. I mean, they have a lot of pieces. Their only really uncertainty right now is the quarterback position, even though they used a high pick on Zach Wilson.
Well, you could still argue, too, that they're really young offensively with Breece Hall. Well, they are really young with Breece Hall and those 2 receivers.
Oh, yeah. They have a really good foundation.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's also kind of the same thing for Rodgers if he doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild with the Packers. I mean, the Jets defensively they're stout already, but they're young too. So who's to say that that's like next year? I don't think it's a timeline for them to make a Super Bowl run with Aaron Rodgers. Maybe a few years when those guys could develop, but how's that more different? Because Rodgers, if he has 2, well, he's thinking about retiring now. So how many years does he really have left? 1, 2. So does he want to go over there and potentially not win? So, but I just saw a source. Adam Schefter saying that the Packers would prefer to trade Rodgers because of all the financial issues. And Plus, they still have just Jordan Love sitting there. At the point, if Rodgers stays, Love's going to want to go. So, I mean, this is kind of the time to do it. And no offense, I love Aaron Rodgers, but I don't think we're really close to a Super Bowl. This could be time to move on, especially if Rodgers is willing to do it. So, I mean, you want him to be in Green Bay forever, but
Yeah, you want to show loyalty to players that have taken your franchise to successful heights. But at what point does that become diminishing returns where, they're not able to produce at the level you want, and then while you're trying to rebuild the rest of the team, does he still fit into that plan?
yeah.
Because I've seen teams where they tried to fit a veteran quarterback into a rebuilding plan, and it just doesn't really work. Everything kind of goes askew, and then you kind of just waste a year. I mean, and you want to give Aaron Rodgers his due, but, I mean, if you're starting over with the rest of the team, why not throw Jordan Love in there and let him progress with the team as a unit,
Well, I don't even think Green Bay necessarily has to start over because they have a lot of good pieces.
Well, I mean,
but,
yeah.
they're still missing things that, like the offensive side of the ball, they got to develop because it's not. The receivers aren't experienced enough. The offensive line's always hurt. But defensively, they got some good players, except that safety room's going to be an issue now because of free agency. So, I think the right thing to do is probably, like, the smart thing Green Bay could do is trade Aaron Rodgers, get some value for him, and let Jordan Love get in there, and give it a few years. But they'll probably keep him as long as possible, just because the loyalty's a thing. And plus, Aaron Rodgers, I think he's been. You could talk about all his weird off the field issues and beliefs, but like for the most part, he's been pretty loyal to Green Bay. And I think all the issues he had 2 years ago when he requested the trade were all pretty viable. Like he wanted to be more involved in free agent decisions. They wouldn't let him do nothing. He had no contribution whatsoever, and most of the reason he was in the playoffs so long is because of him solely.
He wanted him to draft a receiver, and which they finally did with Christian Watson.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. I think he's been a class act. So I'd be okay if they stick with him, but I'm kind of on the band to move him now. And you know how mad I was when they took Jordan Love when they first drafted him. One way away from the Super Bowl, and we drafted a backup quarterback, and we followed it up with a third-string running back, and it's just like, what the hell are you doing? But here we are now. I'm okay with Aaron Rodgers getting traded now. I'm past it. We had our chance to win the Super Bowl. They blew both of them. Let's just. Now we're not even close, so let's just restart. It's kind of how I am now.
That's kind of where Pittsburgh is. I think. And sorry to spend time on our favorite teams, but that comes with the pod because it's our pod.
Well,
but
mine's news. You're just throwing the Steelers out there.
Well, it's related because I think the Steelers are kind of, just a little bit ahead of where the Packers are now with Big Ben retiring, and they've drafted a quarterback and they got a rookie in there and they're kind of building again. And I really feel like Pittsburgh's like 2 years away from really being a contender. I mean, they're going to have a couple really basically going to have 2 first-round picks because they had the 32nd pick, which they got from Chicago in the trade for
Chase Claypool.
Stupid. Because Dolphins forfeited their pick, so there's only technically 31 picks in the first round. Yeah. But the Steelers have 32, so they should get a couple really good players, which I'm excited about. So, and speaking of the draft and quarterbacks, I have 24/7 Sports odds to be the number 1 pick next year in the NFL draft. And interestingly enough, 3 of them are quarterbacks.
Not a shock.
The odds on
Wait, to be the first pick?
Yes.
Well, that's weird because the Bears going to take a quarterback?
No, but I think this is just based on talent.
No.
And
do better at 247 Sports. Jesus.
Yeah, I expect the Bears to trade out of that pick. I mean, we talked about that a little bit last week.
Just trade down with the Texans.
Well, anybody. I mean, the Colts or somebody. It just depends. If somebody falls in love with one of these quarterbacks and wants to make sure that that's the one they get.
Just not the Jets. They got to give us their picks for Aaron Rodgers.
Do you want to try to guess which?
Well, I think you showed me the graphic already, so I already know.
Well, Bryce Young is the odds-on favorite. He's minus 125, so he's a big favorite to be the number 1 overall pick.
Alabama.
Next is Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud.
See, I always forget Bryce Young's the quarterback in the draft.
Yeah.
I always think C.J. Stroud first.
Yeah.
Big Ten boy.
Plus 230. Now, C.J. Stroud's like 6'2", 210, 215. Bryce Young is smaller. He's like a 5'11", 185, so he's a smaller type of quarterback. So
Well, I just saw a report he's trying to build up to 215.
he's trying, yeah.
So he's got that Drew Brees height.
Will that be an issue for some teams?
Probably.
Some yes, some no. And then the next three guys are all plus 600. We have the all-world linebacker Will Anderson from Alabama.
Yeah, I saw him going to the Bears in the mock.
They call him a disruptor. Jalen Carter, the big defensive tackle from Georgia. And then quarterback from Kentucky, Will Levis, who Mel Kiper rates as his best quarterback in the draft. So I just listened to their podcast the other day. He does with Todd McShay.
Who the hell is Mel Kiper anyways?
Yes. So there's your odds to be the number one pick. But, that'll change depending. There'll be some moves. There'll be some trades. Somebody might jump up because of a performance at the combine or pro workouts or whatever. You just never know. But if Chicago stays put, I expect them to take either Anderson or Jalen Carter to help build around their build up their defense. So
yeah, they need it.
Yeah. If you can't beat somebody, your best bet is to try to stop them.
What do you want the Steelers to take?
I would like to see an offensive lineman, but Joey Porter Jr., legacy, DB from Penn State's going to be out there. If he can make it to pick 17, he would be a good selection. Cam Sutton's a free agent, so if they don't bring him back, DB is definitely going to be a need. But they seem to find some guys off the scrap heap and, I want to say reinvent them, but that's not it, but kind of rebuild him and get him back out there. Like Akilla Witherspoon they got from the 49ers a couple years ago, and he turned out to be really good. And they picked up Levi Wallace as a free agent from Buffalo, and he played really well. So
he was on my fantasy team at one point.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I mean, and I wasn't sad with them not making that last wild card spot. I think I mentioned that.
Yeah.
You beat the Browns, so you did what you could to try to get in. You finished the season on a high note. Everything's positive, and that's better to me than going on the road to play Buffalo or somebody and getting your butt kicked by 25 points or something. Then it just kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So I'm happy, and I'm pretty excited because the Steelers never usually have multiple picks. They always seem to trade a pick, from the draft for somebody and
to
then
get someone. So
then they only have like 4 picks, and then you're like. But I'm really excited. They have, I think they have 3 or 4 in the top 70, so they have a chance to really do something with their team this year. So I'm pretty happy about it.
This is Green Bay's free agency to draft, so
yeah.
Safety.
Is that what you're hoping for?
I would like a safety, especially because what's his face probably won't be back.
What's his face?
Adrian Amos.
Amos Nandy.
Yeah.
Did you see this? The PFWA All Rookie Team was announced. Have you seen this?
What's PWF? Pro Football Writers?
Pro Football Weekly Association, I'm guessing.
I thought it was writers.
Yeah. Quarterback, Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Apparently they selected him over Kenny Pickett, but this came out a few weeks ago, so with the success they've had at the end of the year and Purdy leading them into the playoffs, that was pretty natural selection.
Well, because I was thinking, too, well, Purdy joined late, but, I mean, it's not – Pickett did too. For some reason, it makes it seem like Pickett started the whole year. Yeah, but that's not true.
Well, I had no problem with that selection. Tyler Algier from the Falcons is the running back, along with Kenneth Walker III from Seattle.
Would have been Breece Hall if he didn't get hurt.
Definitely. Receivers: Chris Olave from the Saints, Garrett Wilson from the Jets, 2 Ohio State grads. They seem to pump out receivers out of Ohio State left and right there. Tight end. Chigozimi Okanakwa from Tennessee. Excuse me. I know I butchered that.
Bless you.
Yeah.
That's a joke you would say.
I know.
I know who you're talking about.
Tyler Linderbaum, center from the hated Baltimore Ravens. Guards Zion Johnson from for the Chargers I think he came out of BC. He was a high value pick last year. Dylan Parham from the Raiders. Your tackles are Braxton Jones from the Bears, which is good, and Tyler Smith from the Cowboys.
Why'd you point at me when you said the Bears? Because they got a good tackle?
Well, because they need to protect Justin Fields. Defense.
Unless they draft a quarterback. Bryce Young, apparently, according to 247.
Yeah. We'll go through the defense real quick. Defensive line, Jordan Davis of the Eagles, Adrian Hutchinson of the Lions, George Karlaftis from the Chiefs out of Purdue, a Kayvon Thibodeau from the Giants, who was their number 1 pick out of Oregon.
Good player.
Yeah. Linebackers Devin Lloyd from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Fantasy team, let's go.
Malcolm Rodriguez from the Lions. Look, Lions representing.
I tried to get him.
Oh, Quay Walker from your Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I did see that. He's great when he's not getting pissed off at the refs or pushing trainers.
Cornerbacks, Ahmad Sauce Gardner. He's my pick to be Rookie of the Year.
Just throw him in the trade with him for Aaron Rodgers.
There you go. Yeah, that won't happen. Tariq Woolen from Seattle. Seattle's got a couple of people. Safety Kyle Hamilton from the Ravens out of Notre Dame. And Jalen Petrie from the Texans. The Texans representing there. And then special teams, Cameron Dicker, the kicker, from the Chargers. Ryan Stonehouse from the Tennessee Titans. Man, these special teams guys got some good names. Dallas Flowers from the Colts, kick returner. Marcus Jones, Patriots, punt returner. Do they need 2 different people from kick returner and punt returner? Can't they just have a returner?
No, do 2 different things.
All right. And then special teams, Brendan Schooler from the Patriots, which I assume is like the long snapper. It just says ST, so I'm not. I assume special teams. I'm not sure what other thing it would stand for. So there's your all-rookie team. Any comments, questions, or any omissions
Concerns?
that you can think of?
No, the only thing I saw, people talked about Christian Watson. Also being a Packer homer, I've seen people talk about it, but he was hurt most of the year, so it's kind of hard to throw him in there.
Yeah, I think the 2 that had Olave and what's his face, Garrett Wilson were good selections. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got an article too. Packers prefer moving on from Rodgers.
Oh.
Rodgers is believed to be aware of the Packers' feelings regarding the situation. He said he's open to having honest and direct conversation with Green Bay and wouldn't be offended if the club moved him. So he sounds pretty open to it. Trade him! I love Aaron Rodgers. He's my favorite player of all time, but we're not in a good situation right now.
Yeah, out of here.
We're like negative in the cap. So this team we got, we're stuck with it. May as well let Jordan Love develop with the young receivers.
If we had a sound effect, it would go, boom.
If the soundboard was hooked up.
Yes. It's sitting here on the table.
Oh, by the way, Brett Favre.
Mocking us.
Brett Favre was traded to the Jets for a 4th-round pick.
Ooh, that's all?
And there was like if he played well, they would get more. It was performance escalation.
So did he
did
he get traded to the Vikings?
No, he signed with the Vikings.
Signed the Vikings, okay. All right.
So, cool. So, since we're on football, do you want to talk about the playoffs?
No.
All right, well, all right. Next conversation.
Hey, I have to ask you a question here.
What?
Is Damar Hamlin dead? And does he have a body double running around Buffalo impersonating him?
No.
Have you seen this on Twitter and all over the news?
Yes, but...
Yeah, the conspiracy theorists have said he died because of COVID, and so they've been running this other person out to pretend to be him, and that's why he's wearing, the hooded coat and the mask and stuff. And they claim that it's just a body double. And Josh Allen says it's bunk because, he's been in the locker room to visit them and come talk to them and been around town. And there's a picture here, that's a famous mural of him on that building in Buffalo that the artist painted, and there's a picture of him with it, but he's got the big hood up and the mask, and he's, his hair is kind of hanging down over his face. And so they say, see, that guy's trying to show he's a imposter. But Damar Hamlin did put out a nice message yesterday out to Bills Mafia online and thanked everybody for their well wishes, and it was a real nice video. It was about maybe a minute long, and he ended it with the heart, making the heart sign. So it was kind of nice, feel good message. So
no, I don't think he's a body double. He's probably wearing a mask because he just had a cardiac arrest. Well, so he probably doesn't want to catch any symptoms with that.
Yeah, I'm sure he's been told to be as careful as possible. So
yes, the COVID conspiracy theorists are back at it again.
Yes. Now, if you'd like to talk
it's been 3 years, damn it.
If you'd like to talk
Let's get over it.
If you'd like to talk about his teammates dropping the ball.
Yeah. I didn't watch that game. I was at that was Mom's birthday party. I think so. Yeah, I think that was the
That's a good reason not to see it. You got to celebrate your mama.
Yep. Well, when it came down to it, the Bengals defense stepped up, and the Bengals offense was on fire. 2 things we know could possibly happen, and it did happen.
Well, when I picked Buffalo, I had picked them beginning of the year, but I was banking on the emotion of the Damar Hamlin situation. But sometimes emotion can work for you and against you. They were all down depressed and worried, because of his health issues. And so now he started bouncing back. So then they were starting to feel a bit better. And then he's come into the facility. And so, then you're excited to see your teammate and you're pumped. And, you really just want to go out and play for him. But, once the game kicks off, sometimes emotion kind of, falls away. And it's just the bare bones of the game going on. And, when your emotions ping pong like that, sometimes it'll work against you. And it just, you're up and then you're down, then you're up, then you're down again, and then back up. And sometimes that's just, you get too much emotion or adrenaline running, and that just kind of affects your game. And that, I think, on top of, Cincinnati coming in with a strong game plan and, coming out and not being super flashy, just kind of coming out and running some basic, patterns and running the ball and, just keeping it really a balanced offense and keeping Buffalo off balance. And just for whatever reason, if Cincinnati needed 8 yards, they got 9. If they needed 5, they got 6. It just didn't seem like there was a ton of big plays in that game. But props to Joe Burrow for going in there and
Joe Cool
and playing well. And a lot of those games, there's some animosity. You're like, oh, I hate this team, blah, blah, blah. But also with what happened with the DeMar Hamlin situation, I saw a video before the game, and anytime you see a Cincinnati person walking around, the Buffalo people, hey, welcome to Buffalo. We're happy you're here, thanks. And so there just wasn't that overall, blood-boiling hatred for their team, And not that you hate other teams, but when they come into your house and in a playoff game, you're pumped up and you're like, that was, just in that moment in that game, you hate those people or that team.
No, we hate other teams.
Okay,
you're the one who said you hated the Ravens earlier.
But, yes, but I just don't feel like there was that animosity towards the Cincinnati team or the fans because of what happened earlier in the year. So. It's tough to play that way. And these guys are professional athletes. They get paid and they have to produce. But you don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
No, yeah,
what people do.
That played a factor for sure. But I think credit's due to the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
They're just a good football team.
Yeah,
that's my analysis because I didn't watch.
Yeah, and the Eagles took care of business. I mean,
whooped the Giants' ass.
Oh, that wasn't even. I expected a fairly close game. I don't.
Especially a divisional opponent.
Yeah, and then Jalen Hurts kind of being out, hadn't played for a while. You kind of expected him to have a little bit of rust.
Nope.
And they just came out and they, kind of eased him into the game, and then just kind of he let it fly. And for whatever reason, the Giants were just a step slow, and the offense couldn't get anything going against the Eagles, and so they look good, look strong, and because of that performance, they're probably the favorites this weekend. San Francisco was in a dog battle with the Cowboys till the very end, and once again in crunch time, the Cowboys blew an engine, the transmission went out, and I don't know what the hell they were doing there at the end of the game. Because it's like they have no effing clue. It's like your Mike McCarthy comes into play. It's like Scott Frost. Let's do a onside kick in the middle of the game once we get control. It's like, why you come up with some stupid ideas?
Well, that's stupid Cowboys play. Because I watched it, I go, why the hell is Zeke over there? Yeah. But then they had the offensive linemen spread out, so I go, okay, they're probably going to throw like a screen pass and get blockers in front. But then he threw it like a slant in the middle of the field.
Yeah,
there's 5 guys there. I don't know what the hell they were doing. I thought Dak just screwed that up.
Yeah.
So I figured, because it looked like there was a receiver over there, I thought they were just going to do a little screen and then hopefully get some blockers for him. But nope, they threw it right in front, and the poor guy got messed up.
No, we'd be remiss if we didn't say the injury to Tony Pollard didn't affect him. Because he's their dynamic playmaker. Zeke's the man in the middle, but Pollard's that dynamic back in that offense. And when he stepped in for Zeke when he was hurt, that's when actually the Cowboys caught fire and he started playing well. So
that and Dak's indecision. I mean, his bad decision making, because he had that bad pick in the red zone.
Yeah.
So he didn't play well this year. I mean, yards and wise, he's always going to be good, and touchdowns. But he made a lot of dumb interceptions this year. Just not seeing the field as well, and so I guess that's got Jerry Jones all up in a bunch because he just paid him, didn't he?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I laughed too because when they show the Cowboys, instead of showing like players on the sideline or fans in the stand, they always go up to the owner's box and show Jerry Jones up there. And it's just like he's the face of that franchise, even though he doesn't play. That's
because he's the owner, GM, he's everything.
Yeah. Have you seen that meme out there they have of Jerry Jones and comparing him to Yoda? Just the expression on the face where they kind of have that, that. I won't say it's a scowl, but the kind of disappointed look, like.
Well, it's a scowl for him. Yoda's like smiling.
When Yoda's training Luke Skywalker in the swamp, and and he's not listening. He's like, oh.
They look the same. It's like you see all the photos of Belichick and Palpatine.
Yeah, I'll share it out on Fast Intentions podcast Twitter at F Intentions Pod after the episode here.
I can.
So if you want to see it,
I can retweet it.
Okay.
On the account.
Okay.
No, but
so if you're interested in seeing that, look for that and like or comment, and one of those people will be eligible to win a Fast Intentions koozie.
Oh, great!
Yay!
Woo! No, well, the 49ers defense is really good. I think it's better than the Giants. So we'll see how that slows down the Eagles.
Yes.
But I don't know. It just feels like because the Cowboys have a good defense too. So Brock Purdy kind of struggled a little bit. The offense.
Well, he just didn't turn the ball over. That's the main thing. Purdy won't turn the ball over. And Dallas did. Zach threw 2 interceptions?
Yeah.
And that was the difference in the game.
No, yeah.
So
I was talking about upcoming game. So I'm thinking offensively. I think. Because the 49ers for sure got a better defense. But I think the offense of the Eagles put them over the edge against the 49ers.
Well, the Eagles' offense is more dynamic. But, don't sleep on the 49ers. They got Samuel and Ayuk, and Kittle.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, they have weapons. And they got McCaffrey, but you forget about Elijah Mitchell, who came back. And so he's a dynamic playmaker. So they have weapons. And I wouldn't be surprised to see, Mitchell and McCaffrey on the field at the same time, some plays and – some screens or reverses or stuff to slow down the Eagles.
Well, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm not taking the 49ers lightly because that's the perfect place where you could just get a quarterback, put him in there, and they'll be successful anyways because he's just got to make the throws. Just don't turn the ball over. Don't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
Like they're so set up with reverses and stuff. All those players are so dynamic they can pretty much play themselves. So that's why Jimmy Garoppolo is so successful there. And then he came back injured and he just slotted right back in.
Yeah.
So.
And will Jalen Hurts try to force something today that's not there, or will he just play within himself and, go with the game plan and, he can keep plays alive with his feet, and that's one of his calling cards.
He's got a good offensive line too.
Yeah,
he's got 2 All-Pros right up front.
Yeah, and Lane Johnson came back last week, so that always helps.
Because that 49ers front is scary.
Yeah,
because they can just rush forward and get to you.
I'll stick with my 49ers pick because that's what I picked at the beginning of the year, but. If I had to pick just based on this game, I probably would say the Eagles are going to win. But I would say less than a touchdown. I expect it to be like 32-27,
I think it'll be close, too.
Somewhere in there.
I am going to take the Eagles. I did pick them to go to the Super Bowl. But, not at the beginning of the year, but when we made our playoff predictions. But, yeah, I just like them more offensively.
Yeah,
I think Jalen Hurts is more dynamic than Brock Purdy. I think that's literally what it's going to come down to. No offense to Brock Purdy, who's having a great year. Rookie. And who knows, he may be the guy going forward now. Well, I feel like they won't give up on Trey Lance, especially because they traded up for him. He'll get his shine.
Yeah, he's got to be thinking, what the heck? I got to get back and get going.
I know.
So
you feel bad for him because he sat behind Jimmy G. Here's the keys, and then he tore his ACL the second game of the year, and then literally Mr. Irrelevant comes in and tears it up. It kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Well, because the only game Trey Lance had was that one against the Bears where it was like raining and sliding. And
running. Yeah.
And then they lost that game, which is funny because the Bears were 1-0, and then they won like 2 more.
Yeah, because after the game, Justin Fields and all those guys went sliding through the end zone.
In the mud, yeah.
I was trying to find the lines for this weekend, but
it's the Eagles
Philly -7. I would no, that was last week. I'm sorry.
It's the Eagles -3, and the Chiefs are -2 over the Bengals.
Oh, well, in that scenario, would you say -3? Eagles -3? Excuse me, I got something in my throat.
Yeah, the Eagles are -3.
I would probably take the Eagles with that line.
I would too.
So,
and then I don't know. -2. That's such a crappy line.
I would pick the Bengals.
Yeah.
They seem to be on a mission. They're focused. They want to get back to Super Bowl and finish what they started last year. Mahomes is saying that everything's healthy, and I'm sure in practice they've taken care of him. Went easy on him. But once you're out there in the game and you get hit or take one wrong step, that aggravates that injury again. And so then he'll be back to hopping around. And his mobility, that's what keeps a lot of plays alive. And so if he's not able to do that, that's going to limit him. And then now apparently Travis Kelce's been experiencing back spasms. But they said this morning he is going to play, which I would expect. I mean, they'd have to haul him off the field. But, if I was the Bengals, my main game plan on defense would be to double cover Kelce. I mean, yeah, they got a lot of receivers that are, do different things, but Kelsey's the main guy. And, when things break down and mobility is an issue, he's looking for Kelce. So I would, my number one game priority as the Bengals defensive coordinator would be to take away Travis Kelce. When he's coming off the line, chip him with they always say the offensive guys want him to chip a defensive rusher to slow him down. Well, if I'm on the defense of Cincinnati, I definitely want to be chipping Kelce as he tries to go out into the patterns that kind of slow him down. And, sometimes just that, moment allows the rush to get there.
Yeah.
And, who knows, Patrick, knowing that he's injured, he might be a little gun shy when he gets traffic around him in the pocket, especially around his legs. And it'll be interesting to see how he reacts when that happens. So. But, Andy Reid's dynamic, game planner, offense, so I'm sure they'll have a lot of quick passes and underneath stuff and flares and, screens and draws to try to slow that pass rush down to help protect Patrick. But, I mean, they'll definitely take shots. I mean, they'll send MVS down the field or Juju down the field and, take some shots. And so it'll be interesting. It's too bad that the health of a couple players is might help determine this game, because we were talking. You and I were talking the other day about how Cincinnati had some injuries, but the guys all seem to get healthy and get back right before the playoffs, and like Jamar Chase and people. So they seem to be at full strength, whereas Kansas City's kind of struggling with some things right now. So
well, that's what they say. Not always the best team's the healthiest.
Yeah.
But then the best teams overcome the injuries. Next man up. So
well, the backup quarterback for the Chiefs, I want to say Chad Henne, but it wasn't Chad Henne. What the heck was his name? The Chiefs backup quarterback last week. As Nathan goes to Google.
I got you.
I should know that off the top of my head. I apologize.
I got you. It is Chad Henne.
Oh, is it Chad Henne?
Yeah.
Oh, well, hey, props to me.
No, because he had that game against the Browns.
Yeah. So, I mean, because they took the ball over, the 3-yard line. He drove 97 yards for a touchdown. So, I mean, he's capable. I mean, is he Patrick Mahomes? No. But, Andy Reid will just call a different game to, just play to his strengths. So it'll be interesting to see. But I was kind of leaning towards the Bengals before the Kelce news came out, and I've had back spasms before, and it's debilitating. I can remember bracing myself in a doorway and just holding on to the wall. It's just because it hurt so bad, and I was just like tears running down my face and crying. And
well, you do that all the time. But no,
that is.
I was thinking the Bengals too.
Go on.
I was thinking the Bengals too, especially if Mahomes is not 100%. And I don't know, they're just on a roll. Haven't they won like 11 straight since the season 2? They haven't lost in a while.
Well, I think
they were like.
I believe I saw a stat that the Bengals have beat the Chiefs like 4 games in a row.
But they were on an 8-game winning streak going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They were 4-4, then they were 12-4, and they won 2. So they won 10 in a row.
Well,
they're on a roll, baby.
You can look at that 2 ways. They're hot, and
or
they're on a roll,
due to lose.
or they're due to lose. Yeah,
they're not due to lose.
You stole my line.
I got the Bengals.
All right, me too.
Oh, and then you want to talk about any of the
+2
because we haven't talked about any of the playoffs. Shout out to the Jaguars, one of the biggest comebacks ever against the Chargers.
I had that.
You didn't have that. You had the Jaguars winning.
Yeah.
You didn't have them overcoming a 28-0 deficit.
It was 27-0. If it was 28-0, then they wouldn't have come back. But since it was only 27,
no, they won by a point. It would have went to overtime.
I was watching that game, and I turned it off. And I said, So then I was watching something else. I said, I'll flip back to that. And it was 27-25 or something. I go, Chargers haven't scored the whole second half. And then I watched them go down and kick the winning field goal. I watched the last couple of minutes. I said, I had that pick. I said, Nathan missed it. I had it.
Well, I had it for the first half, 27-0.
Well, you got to go.
And
you gotta
I
go
said
all 60 minutes.
And I said they were going to fire Brandon Staley if they lost. They fired the offensive coordinator. So Staley will probably be back. Because I saw a report that the players
really liked him.
Same thing they did with Dan Quinn in Atlanta. And guess what happened? He got fired in the next offseason.
Yeah. Well, the quarterback stepped up and supported him, so it was nice.
That was nice, but that's a bad loss for the Chargers for sure.
Yeah.
Because especially when they got Herbert and they got J.C. Jackson and Khalil Mack and all the world's like, oh man, this is the year for the Chargers to make the playoffs, have a deep run. They haven't done shit, and then a big demoralizing loss like that never helps. So we'll see. Staley will get one more chance, but if they don't do nothing next year, he's gone.
Well, it depends.
And plus, who knows? Justin Herbert. Sorry to interrupt you.
That's right.
But
I'm used to it.
Poor man was hurt all year with his poor ribs since that second week.
But anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows if Justin Herbert was still 100%. But even then, if you're up 27-0, you should be able to close out that game.
Definitely.
There's no reason for you to score.
Especially with that defense the Chargers have. They have a good defense.
Yeah. So there's no reason for you to score 3 points the whole second half. Like, that's just conservative play calling.
It'll be interesting to me to see where Trevor Lawrence goes next year in some fantasy drafts. How much he built himself up. But, hey, real quick, since we just kind of made our predictions for the games this weekend, I know it'll be after the fact by the time that it posts. But I want to shout out my buddy Jose from the UPS. He's always asking me for my predictions on the games and stuff. And I always tell him, listen to the next pod. And he's like, oh, man. So he's always he says, you did pretty good on your predictions. He goes, I would lay some money down. And then when Buffalo lost, he shows up and says, hey, you owe me money. And I'm like, for what? And he goes, Buffalo lost. And I said, well, I didn't. I said, this is entertainment purposes only. I said, don't be putting money out there based on what I say.
Oh, let me say, I'm pissed.
So
I was going to pick the Giants over the Vikings. I didn't do it. I'm so mad. Those damn Vikings always get me. Those fuckers.
So anyway, shout out to Jose and UPS. Even though they're our competition, he's a good guy, and I see him pretty much every day when I'm working. So
shout out Jose.
There you go, Jose. I know these will come out after the fact, but I hope you make some money this weekend. Buddy.
Yeah, shout out Jose, and shout out Jose at Don Ameli's too. My man.
We both have our own Jose's.
Yeah, I love my boy Jose.
All right.
But the Vikings, man. Another sad loss for them. I mean, it always brings a smile to my face, but I know there's some. Shout out my social studies teacher, Jordan Boyer.
Jordan Poyer?
No, not Jordan Poyer. Jordan Boyer. Steve still makes fun of me for that, but
he's not doing anything now. So
yeah, well that's true. Yeah, but he's
defensive back for the Buffalo Bills, by the way.
Yeah, that's the son of a
bitch.
Screwed me out of that fancy game.
Shout out to Jordan Boyer and Jordan Poyer.
Yeah, but he's a Vikings fan. Shout out to him. Yeah. Did you see? We talked about this off the pod, but that 4th and 8 play. So the Vikings season's on the line. It's 4th and 8, and so Kirk Cousins throws a 2-yard out pattern to Hawkinson.
Yeah.
I got that sums up their season entirely.
Well,
and then they got rid of their defensive coordinator, didn't they?
I hadn't heard that.
I think they fired their defensive coordinator, and they interviewed Mike Pettin, former Green Bay defensive coordinator.
Oh.
And so we said, yes, hire him. You guys want him.
Retreads.
Yeah, you want him, baby.
Yeah.
You cycle through our old fucking defensive coordinators. We should lose one, but we got Joe Dingle-Doofer for another year, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, I always like when they hire retreads. And speaking of that, that's generational. Our tagline here at Fast Intentions. Is that how I worked that in?
Yeah, that was a bad workout.
That was a segue.
That was a bad workout. Okay, do we have any more football news or?
Did you want to touch on Matt Rule and his recruiting? And
you can touch on him. That's fine. I know you like feeling on him.
Yeah.
No, Matt,
he's smooth.
Shout out to man Matt Rule. He's going everywhere.
Yeah, he's really making the rounds. They just landed a defensive tackle commit out of California last night. But, he seems to be doing the right things the right way. His assistant coach, Ed Foley, if you follow him on Twitter, he's been making all the rounds in Nebraska. He's been hitting all the high schools. Every day he's, posting Twitter. He'll do, a quad box in the 4 high schools he's visited, and there'll be pictures and later on from the coaches or whatever saying, thank you to come visit us. And some of these coaches at these schools said they haven't had a Nebraska coach in there in 10, 15 years.
Yeah. So
they really made a strong effort, and especially with Foley, to go out and see these coaches at these high schools and make a presence, which I think's needs to be done. That's a big foundation piece, and you would thought Scott Frost being from Nebraska at Wood River, specifically, that they would have done more of that, but apparently they kind of skimmed the surfaces and, didn't go to the outlying schools. They hit the big schools, the big name schools, but you just need to make a presence everywhere because you just never know when somebody's going to pop up somewhere. And
yeah, Well, it seems with all the rumors, Scott Frost didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah.
So,
but
shout out Matt Rule.
Yeah,
man's going everywhere. I don't know if they give out off-season coaching awards, but he should be coach of the year based off the off-season so far and all the hyping he's doing on Twitter.
Well, there's a lot of talent in the state this year. They said Minnesota's been in, Iowa's been in, Iowa State's been in, Vanderbilt. I heard Missouri.
Colorado's been looking at it.
Colorado, yeah.
They were looking at offensive linemen, weren't they?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
I
just saw the report.
Yeah, there's a kid at Central, your alma mater, who's getting looked at. I think he's a defensive tackle or something. But, yeah. Do you ever listen to the pod Bussin' with the Boys? It's Will Compton and Taylor Lewan.
Yeah. I was going to listen to it because Matt Rule was on there, but I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, I just listened to it. I mean, he doesn't come on till like 43 minutes in the pod. So, I mean, these guys are all right, but there's a lot of, hey, buddy, my boys. And so, it's, if you don't like to listen to all
you're
that
just
crap,
not, you're not hip.
Yeah.
You're not modern.
I'm not. That's why it's generational. You're modern, I'm not, apparently. But
stop trying to work the tagline.
Sorry. It's generational. So I listened to that. I went through that fluff, and I finally was like, oh, my God. So I just kept forward until I got – but –
Well, because they have an actual podcast on top of it.
Yes.
Where they talk about stuff.
They do. They talked about this game in Las Vegas called AC Deucey, which I never heard of, but it was really interesting. Look that up if you don't know how to play it. But, yeah, he was on there. They were talking with him. I really liked his vibe, what he had to say, hit all the talking points. He signed a contract on the air with the boys to make the Nebraska-Michigan game the annual Bussin' Bowl.
Yeah, the Bussin' Bowl.
And apparently they got Jim Harbaugh to sign on because Taylor Lewan played at Michigan. And Lewan and Compton played together at Tennessee as teammates, and that's how those two got together. So that's the basis of it. But, yeah, they said Harbaugh got on board right away, and then Nebraska was going to do something, but then stuff happened and Scott Frost got fired and the paperwork never got taken care of. But they actually had Rule sign the paperwork online, on the pod, and then now they just have to get the athletic directors and stuff to sign on. And I guess if you Google Michigan's trophy case, there's actually a Bussin' game trophy, and they have it displayed in the case.
Well, yeah, because I saw the banners and stuff from last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But anyway, if you get a chance to listen to them and you want to listen to the good Matt Rule interview, really impressive. Like I said, he says all the right things, hits all the right notes, and he just puts puts confidence in me as a Nebraska fan, a lifelong Nebraska fan, that he's the right guy. Scott Frost made the right decision. But when Scott made his hire, we said I trusted him to make the right decision, and I feel like he has. And Matt Rule has done nothing to prove. Trev, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to clarify.
Thank you.
No, you're good.
So he's done nothing to make me think anything but him being the best hire. And so shout out to Matt Rule and shout out to Trev Alberts.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure you still want to talk about stuff for us.
It's positive vibes going into the off season. So
I said off season coach of the year, Matt Rule.
Yeah. Well, unless it's Deion Sanders, he's doing some work. We
don't care about him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
He's going to lose his first home game.
Once that game gets closer and closer, that'll be all the buzz. So, anything on Matt Rule?
No.
So just what you see anything on Twitter or
no? Shout out Nebraska fans though, because he was talking about how you go everywhere and then they'll just be a Nebraska fan. He said he was in Mexico on his vacation. Somebody went up to him and said, "Go Big Red."
Yeah.
He's like, "What the hell? I'm in Mexico."
I guess the only thing yet to be seen is apparently they're like 102 scholarship players. You can only have 85. So somewhere along the way, they're going to have to jettison some of these guys. So it'll be interesting. And I assume maybe a few of them will jump in the transfer portal if they're like, okay, these guys keep getting these commits, and there might not be room for me. And what a pipeline they got coming in from Georgia. I mean, just keep pumping.
Former 5-stars, they all come.
Yeah.
They're not 5-stars anymore, but they're still here.
Yeah, I mean, shout out. I mean, I don't know how they developed that pipeline, but maybe those Georgia guys say, hey, it's great up here. You need to come visit. And then they just love it and then just keep stacking up the Nebraska Bulldogs.
But that's how it's got to work. All those guys want to go to those big schools, but there's too many 5-stars. They can't all play.
That's right.
So some of them got to come play for us. That's how it works. And then we get the good people 2 years in.
So are they Nebraska Bulldogs or Georgia Cornhuskers?
No, they're Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Oh, Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Yes,
Okay, we're not going to mix
they're
and match.
part of the good life. That hasn't been too good lately, but we're getting there.
All right.
All right, so let's go to baseball.
Baseball.
Baseball. I'm excited. Spring training's like less than a month away.
2 weeks to pitchers and catchers report.
Oh yeah, those shitty pitchers and catchers for the Red Sox.
He's rubbing his hands together if you can't tell.
Ooh, baseball. Okay, we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame and all the controversy surrounding that. Even though it's not much controversy, but
Okay.
to some people it is. But I just wanted to shout out your team. They signed Aroldis Chapman for a year deal
Yeah.
to fill out the bullpen. You have thoughts on it? I have thoughts on it.
That's a typical Royals move. They hire a guy who's coming off injury and needs to come back and reestablish himself, and they hope they can help him. And then if he has a good year, they at the trade deadline they turn him around for a potential piece later on.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
they've done that for years and years, and they haven't really ever found like a diamond in the rough. I mean, they found a few players that contribute, but they've never found like anybody that's really, a standout. But,
He's a big name, though. He's
Yeah.
a very big name.
I mean, his
People
fastball
come to see him.
velocity's dropped, and he had some off the field issues, but
Yeah.
apparently those charges were dropped. So I guess they felt comfortable with signing him, and so
Yeah, we don't mess with Aroldis Chapman off
and
the
they've
field.
made a couple deals. They traded Mondesi to your team for a middle of the road reliever, so which was interesting.
Hey, don't hate on Josh Taylor.
No, he's injured a lot, but
So is Mondesi.
so is Mondesi. But the thing with Mondesi is potential. If he's healthy, he's a great glove. He's fast. He's not the best hitter, but I mean, if somebody can work with him, he could probably hit 250, 260, and steal you a crap load of bases if you let him. So
Yeah, it depends if he's healthy.
and it's a low risk, a move for the Red Sox since they lost Story. So
Yeah.
will he play? Will they put him at second or short? Do you know, or
You'll probably play short.
who's going to move?
Well, they got Kike playing short because they just signed Adam Duvall.
I
So
saw that. That was a good signing. I
so
like
he-
Adam Duvall.
He's going to be our center fielder, and they're going to move Kike to short. And then they still got what's his face, Christian Arroyo playing second probably. So him and Mondesi could split time.
Yeah.
And then they got Verdugo, and they got that Yoshida Takana now.
Well, the thing about the Red Sox is they have a lot of flexibility with their lineup now. They have guys they can move around and play different positions if need be. So
Yeah, but the only bad thing is now that Bogart's gone, Devers is kind of stuck. They don't really have anyone to. Well, I guess they got Justin Turner backing them up now, but he may be easier to kind of work around. It's the only bad thing. So, and then
well, Duvall played some infield, didn't he? Didn't Adam Duvall play some infield?
I'm not sure, but he'll be an outfielder for sure. And who knows if he's every day either. I think they do have a lot of flexibility to get guys in and out. So that line's not going to look the same at all every day. So we'll see how that goes. I think Boston, like at their best, they have a chance to be like the third wild card probably. I still see them probably be middle of the road. But like I said, they're in that weird phase where they're young and they can do some things, but they're like bringing all these old guys trying to compete still. So it's really weird. I don't know what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I saw something online that they were mentioned with one of the veteran catchers that were still out there on the free agent market.
Oh yeah, I don't shoot. I did see that. It was that
Keep talking.
I can't think. Yeah, I can't think of what his name is, but I did see that. So we'll see how the Red Sox do. The bullpen's better than it was last year.
Roberto Perez.
I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it and sound stupid.
And it says they also have shown interest in Matt Moore.
Matt Moore, jeez, I remember when I tried to trade for him.
Free agent reliever. Yeah.
Yeah, former Tampa Bay Ray, correct?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, they're not done. They're still out there pittering around in the market.
That starting rotation is going to be. I don't think it's too bad if they stay healthy, but it just depends.
They're digging through the bargain bin.
I would like Evaldi to stay because I really like Nate Evaldi, but he has the issue too. He's always hurt. He struggles, then he gets back into his zone, and then he gets hurt, and he's out for a month, and then he comes back and he starts to struggle, gets in the zone, then he gets hurt.
Well, speaking of my Royals, they did sign Matt Duffy, then a veteran infielder, which was a move I really liked. We talked about flexibility with the Red Sox. He can play all the 4 infield positions, and he's actually a pretty good hitter. So I was fairly happy with that signing.
Woo!
So you mentioned.
Sorry, I'm yawning.
That's all right. So, did you want to talk about the Hall of Fame vote?
Yeah. Scott Rowland was the only guy to make it in this year.
Yeah, there was 28 candidates this year, and you had to get to 75%, and he's the only one that made it. Out of the 75%, that means you need 292 votes to qualify, and Rowland got 297. So he got in. He wasn't like a unanimous pick by any means, but, good, solid player. I was trying to think back of Scott Rowland and what I can remember about his career. And he wasn't a flashy player. I just, I remember him playing well and seemed to be a pretty good homer hitter and hit for average, played good defense. I never thought he was like super elite or anything, but he was always one of the top producers and played for the Phillies for a number of years and what have you. So,
do you want to hear some of his stats to see if he was deserving? 7-time All-Star from 2002 to 2006 and then 2010-2011. He played until 2012.
Okay.
So I knew of Scott Rowland, but he wasn't like when I was like watching baseball. You know? So 7-time All-Star, World Series champion 1 year with the Cardinals in 2006. He was the Rookie of the Year in 1997, but he's best known for his glove because he's an 8-time Gold Glove winner, and he won the Silver Slugger once in 2002.
Nice.
And he hit 281 in his career, 2,077 hits, 316 home runs, and almost 1,300 RBIs, 1,287.
Any stolen bases?
It doesn't say right here. I'm just on Wikipedia right now. I'm not even on
That's fine.
Baseball Reference.
Yeah, I mean, good, solid player. Could do it all. He was never the elite at his position, but he was always, one of the top 5, 6, 7 guys every year.
There's 118 stolen bases in his 17-year career. I think that includes some of the minor leagues, though. So. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. That's total. Yeah. So in this career, he stole 118 bases. So the question is he Hall of Fame worthy as you turn off your cell phone volume that rudely interrupted our podcast?
Sorry.
Is he Hall of Fame worthy is the question.
Well, apparently 297 people think so.
Well, I think he's a good player, but it just depends on, I guess it depends on what you, this was his 6th year on the ballot too. So he eventually got so 5 years they didn't think he was a All-Star.
Well, it depends on who else is up for vote in your class.
Because I think they're just kind of
and they have a weird thing about putting too many people in a certain position or nominate so many people. But I don't know. Do they feel pressure to nominate somebody? I don't know.
Well, they've had years where they've never done it. I think if no one's worthy, no one's worthy. You shouldn't vote him in.
Well, it's only going to be him and Fred McGriff going in this year because Fred got nominated by the Veterans Committee.
Yeah.
So
they usually always find someone else to throw in there too.
I do have the next 3 vote getters. Todd Helton got 281 votes, so he's real close.
I like Todd Helton,
and he's. I looked at his stats, and he's like Roland. He's kind of got more and more votes each year. So I expect Todd Helton to be in next year. Speaking about Golden Glove, top defensive first baseman in the National League for many years. Played a lot of his game in Colorado. Wasn't a big power hitter, but always hit for high average. He was like always one of the top average hitters in the National League.
Well, I thought he had power for a few years, didn't he?
Well, Colorado, so that kind of mitigates some of his numbers just because of the thin air. But he's best known for his glove and his high average. And then you have reliever Bobby Wagner.
Billy Wagner.
Or is it Billy? I put
Bobby's the football player.
Okay, sorry, I put Bobby.
It's okay.
Billy. 265 votes, and then a little bit farther down from him is Andrew Jones, the Braves all-star outfielder, 226.
I like Andrew Jones.
Yeah. So I would expect Helton Wagner to probably get in next year. And then after Andrew Jones, it dropped down below 200 votes. So it'll be interesting to see.
It says Gary Sheffield had 214.
Yeah. So.
I like Gary Sheffield. What's his stats? Does he have...
I don't think Gary Sheffield's at all Hall of Famer myself.
Well, he hit 292 for his career, 500 home runs, 1,600 RBIs. How many hits does he have? 2,700. I mean, stat-wise, he's better, but does he have? He doesn't have PED
implications,
does he?
I don't think so.
Well, then,
if he did, he wasn't making very good use of them.
500 home runs is still a lot.
Yeah.
And Gary Sheffield had the cool batting stance because he'd always just fling it when he was up there.
Batting stance guy.
Yeah, batting stance guy. No, I remember him from the video game because when they have him, it was really exaggerated.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, he was fun to bat with just because of that.
Well, Carlos Beltran, he's a good player, but he won't get in. Which is weird because I always think of Carlos Beltran Younger as like a really good player, but like looking at his stats, and then of course there's good old A-Rod and Manny Ramirez who will never get in.
Yeah,
despite the fact that they have the stats and stuff to get in.
When you think of Carlos Beltran, did you think of him as a Royal or a Yankee or Astro or?
It's funny. I've growing up.
I remember with the Mets.
I remember him mostly with the Cardinals for those like 2 years he was there. But no, the Mets probably the most.
Yeah, well, he was Rookie of the Year with the Royals, and
he left the Royals in 2004.
Yeah,
and I was in kindergarten, so I don't remember him a whole lot. Probably Mets or the Cardinals, because then he was with the Yankees later, and then Houston. And then that probably doesn't help his case either, the whole Houston scandal, because that probably plays an impact.
Yeah, anytime they talk about all-time Royals teams, he's always mentioned as one of the top guys that they wish they could have kept around longer.
So you have to get 5% of the vote, I believe, to stay on the ballot. And so Torrey Hunter Bailey kept it. He got 6.9% of the vote. So he's going to be on.
Well, if they put Torrey Hunter in based on his numbers against the Royals, he would have been a for sure Hall of Famer. God, that guy tortured the Royals.
Francisco Rodriguez is on here. I remember Francisco Rodriguez.
I remember him.
Guys who didn't make it, or didn't make the cut: Jason Worth.
Yeah, that's
Jared Weaver, Matt Cain. Remember Matt Cain?
Dreamweaver.
Matt Cain was good. Didn't he win a Cy Young?
Maybe
with the Giants.
I like his chicken.
Oh yeah, Raising Cane. Jacoby Ellsbury.
Shout out Raising Cane's.
Andre Ethier.
Quit shrinking your chicken strips.
J.J. Hardy.
They're like a third of the size they used to be.
Johnny Peralta. R.A. Dickey.
Hey, no cussing on this.
R.A. Dickey got one vote.
R.A. Dickey. The screwballer.
So, you know who else got
Knuckleballer.
You know who else got one vote? John Lackey. And Mike Napoli got a vote.
Based on his name, John Lackey.
And then Bronson Arroyo, former Red Sox. Those are three former Red Sox in a row there.
I know. No wonder they didn't make it.
And Houston Street. Former closer for the.
Is that next to Sesame Street?
No, shut up. Okay, I'm done with this segment.
Can you tell me how to get to Houston Street?
And then
I just watched that this morning. Actually, the Kennedy Center Honors, Sesame Street.
No one knows what you're talking about.
Kennedy Center Honors. They have a
now you don't need to explain it now.
Show for the arts arena. It's a very fun show. These
50-year-olds.
People that are nominated sit up in the box and they come out and do a little honorary little bit to them. It's actually pretty fun to watch. So I like to go in there and watch Johnny Carson because the University of Nebraska band shows up, and so it's kind of fun to watch.
I think I've seen you watch that clip at your house like 20 times.
Not 20 times.
Yeah. All right. Well, shout out. Maybe Omar Vizquel will get in next year.
Omar Vizquel.
He had 20% of the vote. I said Vizquel.
He was an all-star defensive shortstop for many years, but
Detroit, right?
Didn't hit much.
Cleveland.
Cleveland? Omar Vizquel?
I thought he was with. See, the thing is, these players are older, so I think I remember them mostly from the end of their careers. Oh, it was the White Sox too, not even the. I remember him in
I know he was somewhere in that division.
No, the White Sox, yeah. What did I say?
You said Detroit.
I was thinking white and black. It was White Sox.
Kind of makes me think of that commercial where they're in there and he goes, "We love you, Detroit!" And it's real quiet, and the guy goes, "Detroit was last night."
Well, I remember that because
that commercial.
No, shut up.
Oh.
Stop talking about dumb commercials. When we played the MLB game on the shut up, the MLB game on PlayStation.
I'm loving it.
Stop! I can tell you're about to say something because I see you like lean your head in like an idiot. Because like you have your head here, and then when you want to talk, you stop clapping in the mic. No one likes to listen to people clap, Ira.
Do I do anything right?
No, you don't.
I made you.
No, because you have your head.
Well, I didn't make you. I picked out your sex.
This is you. All right.
That's what the guy does.
Okay, well, I don't care what you did, but
you need to. Do we need to talk about?
Can I say my point, please? When you have your head here, and then when you want to talk, you go like this. You lean in. So I know you're about to say some dumb comment because you like lean your head towards the microphone. So now you're going to be focused on it. Like every time I try to do the intro, I keep thinking I say "ladies and gentlemen."
Hold the pickles, hold the lettuce. Special orders don't upset us.
All right, well.
Do you know that one?
All right, what's the next topic?
That's Burger King.
Okay, what's the?
Well, speaking of Hall of Fame, I have the 2023 modern era finalists for the Professional Hall of Fame. And I'm going to read this list.
Football Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
You just said professional.
Professional
Football Hall of
Football Hall of Fame.
Fame. Okay.
And I'm going to read my list, and I just want you just give me your reactions. If you know them, tell me what you think of when you hear them. And if you don't know them, just shake your head no. That'd be good for the podcast.
Yeah. And
right.
You said Burger King. Now I keep thinking about the Burger King commercials. Have you seen those new Burger King commercials?
Which ones?
The one where they sing about the chicken sandwiches and stuff. But it's like a meme on Twitter now. Those fucking Burger King commercials.
Should we talk about my idea for the Burger King commercials with the Cineminis?
No, that's like that's an 80s song no one gets.
And they don't have Cineminis anymore.
So it doesn't make sense.
All right, here we go.
All right.
These are alphabetical order.
Cool. I'll tell you if I know him.
Jared Allen.
Yes, I know who Jared Allen is.
He
was an edge for the Vikings.
Yeah, and what was he famous for? After he sacked the quarterback,
Oh, I don't know what he
he'd
did.
do the thing like he's roping him, and then he throws irons out. Remember that?
Oh, I do. I actually do remember that.
Yeah. Okay.
I can think of it now, but
All right.
yes, I know who he
All
is.
right. Willie Anderson.
Don't know who that is.
They call him Flipper. Was
No.
his nickname?
No, I don't know who he is.
Wide receiver for the Rams.
How long ago?
It's been a while.
Okay, well, that makes
And
me
he
feel
holds
better.
the record for most receiving yards in an NFL game, just short of 300.
There you go. Shout out Willie.
Rondé Barber.
Yes. I don't know what he did, but I know the name.
He was a defensive back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he had a twin brother, Tiki, played running back for the Giants.
Okay, yeah, I know both those guys.
Okay. Tiki's not on here.
Oh, I was about to say, is he next?
Dwight Freeney,
I heard the name. See, I know a lot of these names. I don't know what the hell they did.
defensive player for the Colts,
Yeah.
speed rusher.
Well, sure, but the name sounds familiar.
Devin Hester.
Yeah, it's Devin Hester. Punt returner for the Bears.
Yes.
And kick returner.
Yes.
Because they're two different things.
Torrey Holt,
No.
receiver with the Rams when Kurt Warner was there. Greatest show on turf.
Maybe.
Number 81,
Name doesn't sound familiar.
speed guy. Okay. Another receiver, Andre Johnson,
Yeah.
Houston Texans.
Yep.
Big 6'4", 220 guy out of Miami.
I don't know much about him, but I know he played for the Texans.
Yeah. Albert Lewis,
No.
defensive back.
Who did he play for?
Played with the Chiefs and the Raiders.
No, I don't know Albert Lewis.
The Island, Daryl Revis,
Oh, Darrell
Revis Island?
Yeah.
defensive back for the
Darrell or Daryl? It's Darrell, right?
either way, Darrell.
I was like, Daryl Reeves. I was like, oh, Darrell.
Famous for being defensive back for
The Jets?
Jets, yes.
He was with the Patriots, too.
Yep.
That's how I mostly know him.
Joe Thomas,
The Browns lineman.
number one overall pick, I think he was.
Never missed a game, did he?
I don't believe so. And he's commentator nowadays for football. He's pretty good.
Oh, is he?
Zach Thomas, out of Texas Tech, linebacker, played many years for the Dolphins.
No, it doesn't sound.
Led the league in tackles for several years.
Joe Thomas is the third overall pick,
Third overall pick, sorry.
but still very high.
Yeah. So Zach Thomas, I expect to get in. Probably Darrell Revis too, or Darrell Revis.
Joe Thomas should get into.
DeMarcus Ware.
Yep.
Played for
Cowboys?
yeah.
Boom! Look at me.
Among other teams, yes. Reggie Wayne.
Give Reggie Wayne great credit. You ever see that clip?
No.
That commentator, he said, give Reggie Wayne great credit.
Played with Peyton Manning.
Yeah,
in
the wide
Indianapolis.
receiver. Yeah.
Patrick Willis,
Name sounds familiar.
linebacker for the 49ers. Several years. All-star. And Darren Woodson.
Danny Woodhead?
No.
No.
Darren Woodson, defensive back for the Cowboys for a number of years.
Yeah, I knew more than I thought.
Big hitter, yeah. So any of those guys, I know you said something about Joe Thomas. Any of those guys stand out to you as just what you know of them should be Hall of Famers?
Well, I mean, yeah, they're good players. Well, at least the ones I know. Maybe that Holt guy for the Rams sounds more familiar now that I think about it, but...
Well, I expect Devin Hester to get in just because he was such an elite special teamer, returner, dynamic.
Well, he's the best special teamer.
Yeah. Revis, Joe Thomas, you mentioned probably Zach Thomas. Maybe Jared Allen. The other guys, I mean, they might make it eventually. I don't.
Culinary Academy? Isn't that what Jared Allen said on the Sunday Night Football thing? Jared Allen Culinary Academy? I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, some of these guys, I don't think they're Hall of Famers, great players, but I don't, to me, I don't consider them Hall of Fame players, but I don't have a vote. So we shall see going forward.
Well, yeah, it does say Jared Allen Culinary Academy. See, why do I know that? Why do I know that?
now you're cooking.
See, I know the dumbest shit.
Now you're cooking.
I don't have any insight to why the Bengals are going to beat the Chiefs, but I know Jared Allen said Culinary Academy on Sunday Night Football. So,
is that what he said instead of his school?
Yeah, he said Jared Allen Culinary Academy.
Yeah. Do you ever see the video when they I can't remember what it's called, but they voice over what they're lip syncing? Yeah, that's hilarious. If you ever get a chance to see that, bad lip syncing in the NFL and some of the stuff they come up with is just. I just rolling on the floor laughing. So
no, I always like those Sunday night ones, especially what's his face Jamal Williams going on Naruto.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything else?
No,
on your list for the
my list was
pod?
no. I even started this early in the week. I go, man, I'm gonna have a nice list, and then I stopped.
Petered out.
Yeah, because I'd be working it. I forget. I'd be working. I'll be at work. That's the correct way to say that.
Be bussing at work.
Bussing with the boys.
Bussing with the boys.
Yeah, Will come.
Onion ringing with the boys.
That sounds dirty.
Yeah.
What, do you have nuggets?
I have one.
What do you? We don't even have to introduce it. I don't have any. You just want to say your nugget. I'll still throw the sound effect in there.
Now it's time for Fast Intentions. Nuggets. Segue section. And unfortunately, my nugget is about a death again.
Oh, well, what a somber way to end the show.
Yeah. College basketball announcer Billy Packer passed away at age 91, I believe. He was, when I was young and was able to watch a lot of college basketball, he was the voice. If there was a big game at Duke or North Carolina or Michigan or any of the power schools, he was there doing the color. Had a good voice. He was a good guy to listen to. Very knowledgeable, fun. I enjoyed his style of broadcasting, and unfortunately, he passed away this week. And we always, I always talk about just voices. I remember from my childhood growing up, and just indicates to me I'm getting a little bit older, and everything changes. But yeah, Billy Packer was one of the standout voices, for college basketball for many, many years. And so R.I.P. to Billy, and thoughts and prayers to his family and friends. You got anything over there?
I guess I can talk about the Royal Rumbles last night.
Okay. Is that a nugget or is that another section?
It doesn't have to be. It's just a
Did you watch the women's Royal Rumble or did you watch the men's Royal Rumble? Or did you watch them both?
I didn't watch any of them because I was at work.
Oh.
But
that seems to be a theme here. You're at work a lot.
Because we do this on a Sunday, and all the stuff that happened on Saturday, I work all day Saturday.
Yeah, me too. So. Me too.
And if I get this new job, it'll still probably be on Saturdays too.
Oh, I have a nugget. Stetson Bennett, the championship quarterback from Georgia, got arrested for public intoxication.
Why you got to call out that man's business like that?
Call him out. Please call them out.
Well, he's probably just having fun celebrating his title. Nothing to worry about. No, but Royal Rumble last night. Do you have any guesses who won the Royal Rumble matches?
If it's Roman Reigns, what's his?
Roman Reigns.
If it's him, I'll be pissed.
Well, that
guy's 3 minutes was up several minutes ago.
No, he's still good.
I don't know why they make such a big deal out of him. I mean, if you ever see him interviewed and stuff, he's a real nice guy. He's a big family guy, but I just don't. His shtick just doesn't do anything for me. I just don't get it.
No, his bloodline stick's really good. You weren't there for the phase when everyone booed him and hated him. And then when he finally turned heel and he has this big group, we're okay with this now. But he's close to 900 days as champion, so you got to respect the tribal chief, Dad.
Oh, okay. Woo.
So, no, Cody Rhodes won the men's one.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he came back and won.
He's a little guy. Who'd he beat? Who was left?
Him, I think it was Gunther.
Gunther? I never heard of Gunther.
He's
the guy from Central Park?
No, he's the Intercontinental Champion.
Did he throw Joe?
Shut up! Shut up! I don't want to hear no stupid joke.
He submitted Chandler.
That's some reference I don't understand.
Friends. Gunther works at the coffee shop.
I don't watch Friends. I'm not a middle-aged girl. Like, what the hell? Apparently you are. No, but he's the Intercontinental Champion, and he's like in a group. He's like a really big guy. He's a good wrestler. He was number 1. I think he was in there for 70 minutes. So I think it was the longest in a 30-man Royal Rumble, they said. So shout out to Gunther. And then you probably don't know Rhea Ripley. She won the women's one. But no, Roman Reigns beat Kevin Owens to retain the title. And he's in
Kevin Owens.
I love Kevin Owens. He's the man. But Sami Zayn's in the Bloodline group. He's the honorary Uso. And this has been a big storyline for like months about how he's trying to get in the Bloodline. They finally accepted him. Well, then Roman Reigns wanted him to beat up Kevin Owens, who was like his former friend. He wouldn't do it. So when Roman Reigns turned around, he gave him a chair, told him to hit him, and then when he turned around, he hit Roman Reigns, and then he put apart the feather, like they wear like those, like the Hawaii like the flowery like what the fuck
Lei?
Yeah, whatever the hell it's called. Well, he ripped it up and threw it on him. So that's a big thing.
Well, we know what next, which spat's going to be next.
And
Those two.
Yeah, and one of the Usos didn't like Sami Zayn for the longest time when they all accepted him, and then eventually he won his respect. Well, then when he beat him up, they wanted that Uso to beat up Kevin Owens, and he walked down on him. So now there's 2 people maybe.
Now they're beefing?
Yeah, so. Because there was rumors The Rock was going to come back and fight Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Because they're like related.
Finally, The Rock has come back!
I mean, I like The Rock, but that would have been cool. But
can you smell what?
Can you stop
Jared
interrupting
Allen
when I'm trying
is
to
cooking.
The
Culinary Academy.
Culinary Academy.
I was doing a segue.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But now people want Sami Zayn to beat Roman Reigns for his title. But now Cody Rhodes won the Rumble. So technically he gets to fight him. So we'll see.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
Shout out Triple H.
They still have the WWE Network?
It's on Peacock now.
Peacock?
It's just Peacock.
Oh.
They have a WWE section.
Oh, they don't have their own channel then?
Well, they've never had a channel. It's just been a streaming service.
Oh, because I thought you had the channel or something.
No, you go to WWE.com, you can stream it.
Oh.
Why are you playing videos right now?
I'm seeing if we
on a podcast.
I'm trying to see if we have any comments this week.
No,
Jeez
no one gives a
Louise.
shit about our show.
What? Oh, they love it.
Except Jose. But Jose doesn't even leave comments on the video. Or he doesn't even follow us on our Twitter account at FIntentionsPod.
Yeah, Jose, step up. Jeez, come on.
Or he doesn't follow us on YouTube at Fast Intentions Podcast.
What do you expect from a UPS driver? Couldn't make it at the post office, so hey, I'll try UPS.
It's okay.
Do you know UPS drivers, Jose told me, you cannot take time off between Thanksgiving and New Year's.
Oh my God, you talk about this all the time.
Do I?
Yes.
Oh, well.
Well, actually, no, you mentioned it to me the other time and I didn't know it. I was just saying because you told me the other night. It's just to make fun of you.
Yeah, it's, I was like, I'm out of here. Screw that. Did you just work in all the platforms?
Most of them.
Spotify?
You can listen to us on Spotify. Rate 5 stars, like.
Anchor?
YouTube, like, subscribe. Even though I don't really care about the YouTube as much anymore. And then Twitter at FIntentionsPod. Follow us.
I have over 100 friends on YouTube, but on Facebook. But I only have 23 subscribers on my YouTube channel. Now, how's that work? Come on, people.
No one likes you on Facebook.
Well, they love me. They love me.
How many likes you got on your last photo?
Which one?
I don't know.
Just
to see how much they like you.
The one I posted last night? Well, I posted it pretty late, so it's still probably working its way around. I have 8 likes on my new profile picture. I took my girlfriend and her aunt and her mom. We went to the Scottish Society celebration last night because her aunt was born in Glasgow, Scotland, and she used to live in Michigan, and now she's back here. And so we went to their function last night. It was downtown, a very nice facility, and I actually tried haggis for the first time, and it wasn't bad. And have you ever Googled what's in haggis?
No, I've never just been like, I wonder what's in haggis and Googled it.
What's in haggis?
You don't even know what's in haggis.
According to Food Network,
Well,
what is in haggis? The ingredients in a traditional haggis are the finely chopped offal along with diced onion, steel-cut oats, suet, broth, and a variety of
Sewage?
spices similar to pumpkin pie spice with the addition of black pepper.
Did she say sewage?
yeah, I think it's like sheep intestines or something. I mean, it's.
Wow, you're making me really want to eat haggis.
But they had fresh because the one guy said, "Well, we had frozen last year. It wasn't that good, but we got the fresh." And it was good. And then they served it. You put it on a cracker, and then they give you like what they call whiskey sauce. So I tried it twice. I tried it plain the first time, and it was good. It wasn't bad. And I tried it with a whiskey sauce, and that was really nice. So, what?
And that was really nice.
It was good.
Oh, do you want to talk about LeBron James?
Yeah, I hate LeBron James.
Why you hate LeBron? He's a good dude.
He's a baby.
He's just a whiner.
He is. But to finish up on the haggis, I tried it and I actually liked it. So if you ever have a chance to try fresh haggis, don't worry about what it's in it. Just try it.
We'll sleep better knowing my dad enjoyed the haggis.
If you get a shot of whiskey sauce in there too, there you go.
No, you didn't want to talk about LeBron?
Yeah, go ahead. Because they were playing your beloved Celtics.
Yeah, my beloved Celtics. No.
Well, what happened is LeBron drove to the hole at the end of the game.
Okay, you're going to explain
and,
that.
Well, I'll let you expound, but he thought he got hit on the arm.
He did.
And they didn't call it. And as soon as he hit the ground, he's like reaching out and grabbing his arm like like, give me a shot or something. He's like, ah! And then he throws himself on the ground on his hands and knees, and and they should have teed him up right there. Maybe he got fouled, maybe he didn't. But they should have teed him up right there, and then the game would have been over. But it went to overtime, they lost. But he's just a big baby, flopping around, and then he gets away with that kind of crap. He's never not been fouled, and he's never committed a foul in his life. And then Patrick Beverly went and grabbed the camera from somebody and brought it out on the court.
He got teed for
to show the ref, and the ref teed him up for that. And they're just a train wreck. I mean, LeBron's a great player. He's really close to becoming the all-time leading scorer in the NBA, and props to him for that. But I just get tired of his antics, and it seems like the older he gets, the more he does this kind of crap, and I don't care for it. Go ahead.
No, I mean, it was a foul. I mean, I don't care because we won the game because of it. Because, I mean, I don't know. He's not the best free throw shooter, so we had a chance maybe. But, no, he was a little extra about it, but he was fouled. And I think he just likes winning in Boston, so I think he's just really pissed off. But yeah, he was. It looked like he was like dying or something.
Oh yeah, he's like, ah, like somebody stabbed him or something. I was like, oh my god.
It was kind of extra though.
Yeah, it was.
But it's okay. We beat him.
But anybody else in the NBA would have dropped down their knees and did all that. They would have teed him up.
Well, no, they teed up Dennis Schroeder because he fouled Jason Tatum on a layup, and he went down, and he was already kind of on the ground. He fell on his back like this, like he got shot or something. And they teed him up for it but they can't tee him up for that because. If you tee them up when the game's over, and then they get to shoot a technical free throw, they'd lose because of it. There's no way they'd let that.
Well,
happen.
you're showing up the refs, and that's the rule is you're not supposed to show up the referees.
I know, but the refs are such sissies, anyways.
Well, I understand that sometimes they get a little too.
Jason Tatum clapped once, and they teched him. They teed him up
too soft, but
because he reached in and he said, "Damn it!" Like I almost had it, and then they teed him up because they thought he was complaining about the call. He was like, "What the hell?" So shout out to Celtic.
Yeah, they're a little too sensitive in situations, but something like that. I mean, they showed great self-restraint, not teching them up right there.
Well, they won't do it if it's like going to cost you the game, but they'll do it randomly.
Well, I guess it depends on how far he was going to go with it.
Well, that's why they're kind of leaning on foul calls at the end of games too. But that one, he got smacked on the wrist.
It's like the quarterbacks now. If the quarterback gets hit, they turn around the ref and they're looking for a hit or penalty for a late hit or roughing every time.
Well, should I do that too?
If I was
I do that if I was the quarterback. Give me the 15 yards. I'll take it.
Soft.
It's not soft. It's playing the rules.
That's 80 for Brady. Look at that. We brought it back.
You probably complain. You're probably the same person that complained about Cam Newton doing the Superman in the end zone.
No, I didn't care about that. I was just tired of it every time. I mean, it gets old.
It was his stick. He's scoring a lot of touchdowns in 2015.
Yes, that's why I was getting old.
I was watching highlights of that. Of his season.
Plus, I had Christian McCaffrey as my running back that year. I was like, quit taking the 1-yard runs.
I had Cam Newton that year. That was great.
Yeah.
And Steve goes, that wasn't a good pick. And one MVP. And then I drafted him again. He got me 6 points and -1, and he was out for the year.
That wasn't a good pick.
And that was the year I got third place with Daniel Jones. No, I had Eli Manning in that one game in the playoffs. Jesus Christ. All right, well, that's...
I don't somehow we always end up talking about your fantasy teams at some point.
Oh! I should shout out my man, Matt. He did have a suggestion for a category, but I totally forgot about it until now.
Put in the comment sounder. We haven't got to use that for a long time.
I don't want to find that sound again. It's been
find
long
it
ago.
Again.
No, but Matt said I'm not. All right, there you go.
Yeah.
It's in. Matt wanted us to do fancy overachievers and underachievers. Do you want to do that real quick?
Now?
Sure. Who is a fancy overachiever this year? Or someone we have a lot of underachievers. Allen Robinson's the first one I can think of. Kind of.
Yeah, we talked about him.
Kind of supposed to slot in as the number 2 for the Rams.
Everybody thought going to a new team and was an established quarterback, but Stafford getting hurt didn't help him at all. And maybe he's one of those players that just had a good run and he's kind of topped out. He is what he is anymore.
Yeah. Another underachiever. I think Justin Fields was an overachiever. Second half of the year.
Yeah.
Once he got more under his feet a little bit.
Yeah, like we talked about this, they started tailoring the offense to his skill set, and that made a big difference. And they tried not to restrict him from running as much. They let his scrambling ability and the running be part of the game plan.
Underachiever, Jonathan Taylor.
Oh,
number 1 guy, supposed to be for sure, because I had him when we got to the draft. He was in a tier by himself. Jonathan Taylor, and then there's the next guys. He didn't do shit.
He went number 1 in our draft, and
you could say
maybe had a handful, like 3 or 4 games where he actually did what he probably was projected to do.
Matt Ryan could be an underachiever too.
Yeah,
he got benched.
We had hopes for him.
The Colts are probably done signing veteran receivers. They said, "Well, we don't want Derek Carr."
Yeah, they've tried that. It's not working.
They tried 4 times.
Yeah.
That's off the top of my head. I can think about it some more. We could do that next time.
Yeah, I'm sure Brock Purdy would go down as an overachiever.
Well, I'm kind of trying to think of guys because like Brock Purdy just kind of came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think of guys that like.
Kenny Pickett probably overachieved a little bit.
Yeah, but how many people are starting Kenny Pickett in the leagues?
There might be a few. There's some injuries.
You can say Trevor Lawrence.
Tua underachieved, but that's basically because of injuries.
Well, he was overachieving until.
Yeah, they were doing good, but for the year.
Russell Wilson, underachiever.
Yeah, I feel like that's a theme of our podcast, just dogging on the Broncos. But
Aaron Rodgers could kind of be an underachiever too.
Yeah. I mean that's something right off the top of my head. It's hard to come up with a bunch of players.
Anyone on the Eagles overachiever? Jalen Hurts. I mean, he was projected to be a top 5 quarterback, but he was like still above that. So I would put him in there. That's just off. I guess I don't want to say like Cooper Kupp because he was injured.
Yeah,
So
Tony Pollard,
overachiever. Well, Zeke Elliott's a big underachiever.
Oh,
Well, because he had a decent year until Pollard.
Well, the Cowboys are being loyal to Ezekiel Elliott, but Tony Pollard.
Plus, they signed him to a contract.
Tony Pollard should be the main guy going forward. But
all right, well, there we go. I got to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it more in detail next time.
Was that Matt you said?
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Matt, for the suggestion and
he's
reaching out. And
he said, "When's the next episode?" I said, "We'll be recording tomorrow, so probably Monday."
He's excited to get his koozie. So.
Yeah, he wanted a koozie.
So
because he's like the only one that subscribed to Twitter. Yeah, if you want a fucking koozie, you better subscribe to the Twitter.
Yeah, still stuck at 23 subscribers on YouTube. So please hit that subscribe button, and it won't cost you anything. It's free. And all you get is a little red dot at the bottom of your YouTube page saying, "Hey, there's a new episode." And so we appreciate that. Following along Spotify, and you mentioned Anchor and
yeah, Anchor. Shout out Anchor.
F Intentions Pod.
They're supposed to have a thing I'm supposed to read on air, but I've never gotten it. So
F Intentions Podcast. Nathan will retweet that meme of Jerry Jones and Yoda out here, and we thank you all for listening once again. And that's the Bakers Does an episode of Fast Intentions.
Why are you doing that to me? You don't like that. I know you didn't mean to do it. But... All right, you want to sign us out so I can cut you off with the outro music again?
I just signed us out.